This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball XL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1979-82 Game of the Week. Today, from Anaheim, California, it's the Texas Rangers versus the California Angels in the American League West. A battle at the top of this division in this timeline, interestingly. Let's take a look and see what's happened thus far in this series that opened up in Texas. Game 1, it's Nolan Ryan for the visiting Angels. He would also play for the Rangers a little bit later. Steve Comer for Texas. They get to Ryan early in this. They think you're going to chase him. Strikeout, walk, double, error, single, single, walk, walk, bat around. He strikes 3 guys out, but they send 10 guys to the plate. It's 4-zip. Angels chip away off of Comer. It's a Don Baylor RBI triple, 4-1. Big 7th inning, 3 straight singles. Then there's a pitching change. They bring in Danny Darwin, who started it in relief at various times for his Ranger tenure. But he gives up a single to DeCinces and a Tim Blackwell double. And the Angels come back down 4-zip, take a 5-4 lead. Stays that way into the 9th when California brings their closer in, Mark Clear. Doesn't walk anybody, known for a lot of walks. Bottom of the 9th, Wally Backman, nice little off-season acquisition for the Rangers, doubles. After a Larry Bittner ground out, it's Mickey Rivers. He of 7 homers and 630 at-bats. Line drive down the right field, may as well have been the pesky pole in Texas. Clanks off the pole for a 2-run walk-off homer, and the Rangers win 6-5 in Game 1. All right, Game 2 in Texas. It's Dave Frosty the Snowman for the Angels against Fergie Jenkins. And this time, the Angels get out to the early lead. Ron Jackson leads off the game with a solo shot. We get a Tim Flannery 2-run double, 3-0. We get, in the bottom of the 3rd inning, after a couple walks, a Larry Bittner triple. It's 3-1. Angels get a 2-base error off of Jim Lentine, make it 4-1. Man, there's errors all over the place in this era here. Tim Flannery makes an error here. It's 4-2. But in the 6th inning, it falls apart for Frosty the Snowman. He starts to melt. That carrot falls off his chin and the charcoal, and it all just kind of turns into slush. For him, it's a 2-base error off of Disco Dan Ford. We got singles. We got a double by Bobby Bonds, a walk. It's a total mess. They send 10 guys to the plate. They take an 8-4 lead. Fergie gets sloppy in the 7th. An error by the way, Buddy Bell got hurt in both games. And they had to go with a 40-37 backup to finish the game. And, of course, the backup third baseman makes error. And then in the 8th inning, it is Don Baylor with a solo shot to make it 8-6. Texas's closer is a young man named Bob Babcock, who does okay with his 81 card. Walks a couple guys in the 9th inning to make it interesting, but he coaxes Biff Pocoroba into a 5-4-3 double play to end the game. Rangers win 2 straight, looking for a sweep. Your Texas Rangers are going to Anaheim looking for a sweep. Let's take a look at the standings way out west. And here we are way out west. So in this era, well, you know the A's, Billy Martin's Oakland A's are putting it together. They just got Ricky Henderson and Murphy and Armas, and they got those young pitchers, so they're good. Angels are good in 79 and 82. The Rangers, however, have some nice hitters here, though they didn't have a lot of prosperity otherwise. They've got Buddy Bell and Mickey Rivers and Rusty Staub. And the Mariners have just been getting knocked around like a piñata by everybody else. My goodness, that's ugly down there. But the Rangers are a 1.5 games in first, looking for a 3-game sweep here in Anaheim, California. Gene Autry and company, they're renovating the stadium. Jim Fragosi's the manager, we think. 79-82. He was there in 79. Was he still there in 82? I don't remember. Anyway, we got a battle of lefties today for you folks. The Rangers will send Jon Matlack, former New York Met. In 1980, he was 10-10 with a 3.68 ERA and 235 innings. It was like his third year in Texas. And the Angels also will throw a lefty. It's Ross Baumgarten, who actually was a White Sox in 79, 13-game winner, 3.53 ERA. One of those 5 left-handed starting pitchers that the White Sox had. They can't keep 5 lefties. They kept 2. They had Kravick and Burns, but they also had Steve Trout and Rick Wortham, and they're somewhere else in baseball presently. And Ross Baumgartner. Somewhere there's a Sports Illustrated cover of those guys. Anyway, Game 3, Angels need to win this game, or they'll be 2.5 games back. In an era that's very kind to them, that went to the World Series a year ago, losing to the Dodgers, trying to get back and win this thing. Leading off, it's Kiko Garcia Lorca. 66 off Baumgarten. Double 1 to 11 is a 2-base hit. Larry Bittner, 210, single 1 to 12. Gets it on an 11. There are runners in the corners for Mickey Rivers. Infield comes up, he's an A-bunter. 62, left C. Now they'll play back for Richie Zisk. 57's a K, and with 2 outs, it's Bobby U.S. Bonds. 310 is a K. Baumgarten battles back. No score there. All right, the Angels have a ton of right-handed hitters on their team, so it's Jon Matlack's like pitching through a minefield here. It'll be Bill Almon leading off. 1-9's a base hit for the A's Steeler, but you got Sundberg catching. You're not going to run off of him. Brian Downing. 39's a walk, and it's Ron Jackson. 2-2 is a 5-4-3 double play. A runner goes to third with 2 outs for Doug DeCinces. And 2-7 is an RBI single. 1-0 Halos. Don Baylor, 42, back to the mound. Top of the second inning, 1-0. Buddy Bell, 1-7, bounced to third. I'd like to see him finish a game for once. That'd be kind of fun. Jim Sundberg, 44, center X. Your center fielder is Disco Dan Ford at 2E9 in center, makes the catch. And Lentine bounced to third. Bottom of 2, it's Bobby Grich. 56 is a K. Disco Dan Ford, 6-12, rolls back to the mound. And Tim Blackwell, 1-7 is a K. We go to the third. Frank Tavares. He was left unprotected as a free agent. Rangers needed a shortstop. Come to Texas. Jon Matlack recommended him. They were used to be teammates on the Mets. So, yeah, there you go. Frank Tavares. 64. This is homer 1 of 19. That doesn't have power, so it's a single. He is an ace stealer. Blackwell's got a -2 arm. He'll stay put, down a run for Kiko Garcia Lorca. 48 pops to first. Bittner 1-8 is a 6-4-3 double play. Bottom of the third. Bill Sample, 4-7K. Bill Almon, 58, short X. This is Tavares, a 3E29 short. That's a base hit for the ace-stealing Almon with a lead. But you got Sundberg, so. Brian Downing, 2-7, Sky's the center, 2 outs. It's Ron Jackson, 39, single 1-7, line out. Pitcher stool, surprisingly. 1 zip in the fourth. It's Mickey Rivers. 59, bounce to second. Richie Zisk, 38, base hit. Bobby Bonds, 5'11's a K. And with 2 outs, it's Buddy Bell. 46, flies to left. Bottom of the fourth. It's Doug DeCinces, 2-9, short. Don Baylor, 57's a K. And Bobby Grich, 48, skies to center field into the fifth of a 1-0 affair. It's Jim Sundberg. 38 is a walk. Jim Lentine, 57's a K. Frank Tavares, 39 is a K. And with 2 outs, back up top to Kiko Garcia, 66, double 111. 2-base hit. Second and third, 2 outs. Big one here for Larry Bittner and the Rangers. 56 is a walk. The bases are loaded, 2 outs. Let's take a look at Mickey Rivers. So Rivers, against the right-hander, rolled homer 1 to 11 off his own card. Doesn't have power. Hit it. That's the walk-off against Clear. But as you can see, this is a 333 hitter in 1980. Rivers hit 326 for the Yankees in 77. He had some really good batting average years. Doesn't walk at all. 20 walks in 630 at-bats. My goodness. It's really hard to put him at the top of the lineup. Rangers put him third, where he can drive some people in. And here we are. Bases loaded. 2 outs. The pitch to Mickey Rivers. 2-11 is a liner to short. And there goes that threat. Bottom of the 5th from Anaheim. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the 5th. It's Disco. Dan Ford. 1-6, bounce to third. Blackwell 4-4. Catcher's card. Sundberg. He's like a 1-0, right? 1E1 catcher with a -4 arm. My goodness. Might as well just put a robot back there. The Rangers just have this like Tweaky from Close Encounters like behind the plate in the form of Jim Sundberg. He's a robot catcher. Billy Sample, 55, second X. Kiko Garcia, 3E20 at second. And that'll be a base hit. Sample's a C-stealer. Back up top to Bill Almone. 66 off Matlack is double one, single dot. They got runners on the corners. Big moment here for the Rangers trying to stay in this thing. It's Brian Downing. Let's take a look at him. Very similar to the Mickey Rivers card. Downing at 326 in 1979. Probably should have gotten more MVP votes that Don Baylor got for the MVP, as he was a catcher and walked 77 times with a 326 average. Used to play for the White Sox, went to California and tore it up for this team. Big moment here for Brian Downing and the Angels, who need a win in this series. Here's the pitch. 1-9. Brian Downing delivers the single to center field. 1 run scores. Almone's a 15 runner. Rivers got a +1 arm. He'll go coast to coast, and he makes it. So Almond goes to third on the throw. You got Downing at first with 2 outs, 2-0 game, and it's Ron Jackson. 38 left. Texas down 2-0 in the 6th inning. It's Richie Zisk. 2-9. Base hit for Zisk. Bobby Bonds, 58, short X. Almone's a 327 at short. That's a double play. The other hitter, we talked about, Bell, Zisk, Rivers, Bonds, Rusty Stubb. The other hitter here in Texas, in this timeline, sort of, was Al Oliver, who had some incredible years for the Rangers after he left Pittsburgh. But he's now moved on with his 82 card to the Expos, and lo and behold, what does he do for the Expos? He wins the batting title in 1982. So yeah, that's a heck of a loss for these Rangers, but they got enough bats. I mean, you got Rusty Staub and Wally Backman on the bench, for instance. 2 outs now, Buddy Bell. 6-11, pitcher X, Baumgarten's an E7. That is an out. 2-zip, bottom of the 6th. DeCinces, former Oriole, 410, center X. Rivers is pretty good in center field in 80. So 2E10, not bad at all. And he makes the catch. Don Baylor, your 1979 MVP. 1-8 is a walk. Bobby Grich, 2-7 Ks. And Disco Dan Ford, 35, bounce to short. Matt Lack staying alive in this thing. It's just 2-zip. A lot of men left on base for both squads. Baumgarten's a starter 7. California's bullpen, Mark Clear is the closer, but he already blew 1 game. The rest of this bullpen for California is not so much. John Curtis, Paul Mitchell, Danny Boone. Ugh. Ugh. So Baumgarten might just throw in a shutout. You might have to just break him to get him out of there. Jim Sundberg leads off. 58, short. X. Almone, a 327 at short. Makes the play. Jim Lentine. 47 center. And with 2 outs, it's Frank Tavares. 49 pops to short. It's the Ross Baumgarten show here on the Game of the Week, folks. 2-0 Halos, bottom of the 7th. Stretch time here. We are enjoying, of course, listening to the Fleetwood Mac from 82 in the timeline, the Mirage LP. Stevie's got her gypsy thing going on here. Hold Me at Christie sings Hold Me. And there's some other stuff on here. And then there's some bonus tracks. More bonus tracks. And then they won't stop making bonus tracks as they keep milking this thing for about 51 years or something like that. 45 cuts in 3 hours and 15 minutes. Virtually the same thing over and over again. So, bottom of the 7th. It'll be Matlack continuing. Down 2-zip. Pitching fairly well, leaving stranding runners. Not getting support. It'll be Tim Blackwell. 45 center. Bill Sample, 49, pops to third, and with 2 outs, it's Bill Almon. 68 for Almon is a single. And Brian Downing. 47 is a K for Matlack, just 2 runs. Now the Angels with a 2-0 shutout. Can you assist Mr. Baumgarten with some defense? Well, there's like one guy you can bring in. Molinaro is a 3 outfielder. And you could move Baylor into DH, take Downing out. That's what those do. They go from a 4 Don Baylor to a 3 Bob Molinaro. 2-0 Ross Baumgarten in the 8th. This kid's not going to lose this thing. We'll protect him from that. Puts 2 guys on, we'll quick hook him here. Kiko Garcia Lorca leads off. 67 is single 1 of 12, and he gets it. And here's your tie run, Larry Bittner. Let's take a look at him. I don't think we showed you him yet. Bittner was a Cub in 79. 290. 272 at bats, so he was more than a pinch hitter. Dabbled a little bit at first and in the corner outfield spot. Could always hit lefties and righties. There's a little versatile player there with 2 I's in the last name. Yeah, so here he is. The pitch to Bittner. 6-12 left. And Mickey Rivers, who has power against lefties, not righties. 1-6 for Rivers, hits the column again, and this is triple. 1-11 double. That is a triple by Mickey Rivers, and the Rangers are on the board, and they got Mick the Quick at third base. And Richie Zisk is up, and that'll do it. So 7 1/3 for Ross Baumgarten. And they're going to go right to their closer, Mark Clear. Mark Crystal Clear had his control issues, but 1980 he was 11-11 with a 3.31 ERA and 106 innings. Pitched in the World Series a year ago, had some good moments and bad moments. And he's trying to get his Angel team back to the World Series for a second year here. He'll have to face Richie Zisk with a speedy Rivers at third base. Infield comes up. And here's the pitch to Richie Zisk. 3-6! Let's take a look at Richie Zisk's card. He, believe it or not, was a Mariner after leaving the White Sox. No, after leaving Pittsburgh. After leaving the White Sox. After leaving Texas. He would go to the Mariners in 1981 with this card, a 3.11 average, 16 homers and 357 at-bats, which is a full season because of the strike. Most players had like 400 plate appearances. But 3-6, that is smoked into the California night. Gone. And the Rangers grab a 3-2 lead. They're thinking sweep here suddenly in the American League West. My goodness. Bobby Bonds, 53 first. And with 2 outs, Buddy Bell. 2-10's a single. And Jim Sundberg. 1-7 pops to third. Now the question, just like we posed in the previous inning, is there defense to support? No. Wally Backman's awful. Staub is. And yeah, no. There's no defense to bring in. It's 3-2 for Matlack. Now, he's got you this far. And, you know, frankly, it's righty, 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 righty. Tim Blackwell, righty, righty. So it's all righties. Matlack got you through 7. You don't mess with this. You get him out of there. What more was he supposed to do for you? He got you through 7 against all those righties. And we're going to go Danny Darwin in the 8th as a setup guy. Let's take a look at Danny Darwin. Relief starter in 1980, then just a plain old starter in 81. Played all over baseball in the 1980s. Did a great job everywhere he went. It was with Houston, was with Milwaukee. I think he was with maybe Boston. I think he was with the Angels. I don't know. He's worn a lot of jerseys. Nice little pitcher. He actually was a starter 7 with this 81 card, but we moved him to the bullpen because we had too many starters, too many righty starters, based on his previous work and future work in the bullpen. So here is Danny Darwin taking over in the 8th inning. 3-2 games, 6 outs to get, and all these righties. The lefties on the bench don't exactly scare you. Biff Pocaroba and Tim Flannery. The Angels have the weakest left-handed hitters in all of baseball. It's those guys plus Bob Molinaro and Tim Blackwell. Now, the right-handed hitters are probably the best in all of baseball, but yeah. So, there's that. Ron Jackson will lead it off. 37's a K. Doug DeCinces. 37 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Disco Don Baylor. 1-3, grounds to third. They're all disco something, so... yeah, grounds to third for Baylor. It's 3-2 in the 9th. Clear continues. It'll be Jim Lentine leading off in the 9th for the Rangers. 5-10 is catcher's X. That is Blackwell 3-5 makes the play. Frank Tavares 5-10. Catcher's X again. Same result. And Kiko Garcia Lorca 2-6 base hit. And Larry Bittner 2-12 fouls out. Bottom of the 9th, buckle up. Are the Rangers going to get a sweep here? It's Grich, it's Ford, it's Blackwell, Sample. They probably aren't going to go to their bench. And Darwin is lights out against righties, so he might just finish this thing until at least the first 2 guys, and then when Blackwell comes in, they'll figure something out. Bobby Grich, let's take a look at his card. Oh yeah, another MVP of 1979. That so I think I'd go Grich as the American League MVP, and then Brian Downing as the American League MVP, and then maybe Don Baylor, if I was going to give the award out. But anyway, Bobby Grich, he hurt his back in 1978 moving furniture, but then he comes back, and I think they might have given him the Comeback Player of the Year award. He's a second baseman who's a 2 with 30 home runs, and it's 294. My goodness, this is sort of like the pre, I don't know, 30 homers out of a second baseman. This is sort of like the Ryan Sandberg best card, you know, until Sandberg hits 30 and 84 or whatever. But anyway, Bobby Grich leading off in the bottom of the 9th. Needs to get on base for these anglers. They're going to be in trouble out west. 58 off Darwin is single, 1-8, and Bobby Grich gets the single. He's a 13 base runner. Now you have Disco Dan Ford, who's a B bunter, plus you got a lefty Blackwell. That would probably chase Darwin. Sample's a 292 hitter, and then you're back up top to Bill Almo and Molinaro. So it'd be a good idea to maybe move this guy over with Dan Ford. Play for the tie here. He's going to drop a bunt down. It's a 4. It's not an A bunter, it's a B bunter, so that's a good bunt. So now you got Grich at second. And the batter's Tim Blackwell. Do they have a righty who gets lefties out in this bullpen? Or do you just ride the wave? Yeah. Blackwell's a switch hitter, so he's going to be a tough out to get. And they don't have the guy. Texas just doesn't have the guy. These bullpens in both teams aren't particularly great. They're going to just hand the ball to Danny Darwin and say, finish this thing if you can, buddy, because we just don't, we don't trust the kid Babcock to start an inning maybe, but not to come in the middle of an inning. So Blackwell will bat. There is a base open, but it's a 1-run game. So you got a runner at second with 1 out, and the pitch to Tim Blackwell. 1-7, that's going to be a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's your number 9 hitter, Bill Sample. Let's take a look at Bill. He was a Texas Ranger. And they said, oh, we don't need you. And the Angels said, we'll take you. And now has a chance to beat up his old club. Big moment here for him. He's a .292 hitter in 1979. An E0 outfielder with a +1 arm. The options on the bench are the lefties Pocoroba and Flannery. But the minute you bring either of those guys in, they'll probably, they'll go to another pitcher. And then you're in trouble because that's the end of your bench. So it will be Danny Darwin to Bill Sample with a runner at second and 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. And here is the pitch. 2-6 is a bouncer to third base, and the inning is over, and that is it. The Rangers get the comeback in the 8th, thanks to Garcia, Rivers, and Zisk, and they beat up on the Angel closer for a second time in 3 days. And Danny Darwin gets a nice 2-inning save for the Rangers, who sweep the Angels. Oh my goodness, folks. We'll do the box here. Break up the Texas Rangers. Chance to win this division. Something that they probably wouldn't have done in this timeline. I don't remember the Rangers winning anything. Nothing. When did they ever win anything in the 70s and 80s? Am I missing something? I got to have to look it up on Baseball Reference. But do we have to go all the way to Juan Gonzalez in the 1990s before they win something? Does it take that long? Maybe. Mark Clear is the loser. He gave up the homer to Zisk. 2 hits, a run, 3 hits and a run. And another loss. Baumgart, no decision. 8 hits and 2 runs. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Darwin, 2-inning save. A hit and 3 strikeouts. But John Matlack, what a nice outing against this right-handed heavy lineup. Just 7 hits and a couple runs. Maybe it's the Matlack magic. We've been following John Matlack in the Summer League, the 72 card for the Mets. He has been dominating that pitching staff, much better than Seaver and Kuzman. So maybe there's just some John Matlack magic in this Strat-O-Matic, these Strat-O-Matic cards of his that I have. 1019, 0109, 31128, 31128, 2529, 2529. That is it. That is Game 3 sweep. We'll take a look at the year-to-date numbers for these 2 squads. Gotta feel a little bad for the Angels. They lost in the league championship 2 years ago to Baltimore. Then last year they beat Baltimore in the league championship series, lost the World Series to the Dodgers. It is so hard to get back when you don't win the whole thing. And they're trying to get back for a 3rd year in a row, and it's a little bit tougher sledding here, at least in their division, with the Oakland A's and the Texas Rangers doing very well. California is just 10-9 now, hitting .286, 3.39 ERA. Those are fantastic numbers. They've scored 104 runs. They've only given up 84. Should have a better record than that. We'll blame Mark Clear. He's 2-3 with a save, 9 runs in 12 innings. Ouch. So yeah, that'll hurt you. That'll get you traded to the Red Sox. Mark Clear. Yeah, Sensei has 6 home runs for this team, leading them. Good offense, good team. California's got a good baseball team. A little too right-handed heavy for my taste, but they'll be there. They'll probably get in as a wild card, worst case. Rangers. 13-7, having their best start in, I don't know, can't remember, since Frank Howard was with them. I can't remember when the Rangers have been good. They're 13-7. They're hitting .277. They got a 4.48 ERA. Ugh. They scored 106 runs, and they've given up 102 runs. What does that tell you, folks? This team has a horseshoe precariously placed, folks. They got that precariously placed horseshoe in the you-know-what. And they're going to ride that horseshoe and see how far it'll take them. They're getting really lucky here. Let's see. Matlack's 4-1. The entire bullpen is 4-0 with 8 saves in 20 games. Wow. That's spectacular bullpen work. Home runs, we've got Bobby Bonds as 4. And yeah, that's about that. We've played 265 games at this point. The league is hitting .270 with a 4.07 ERA. Yeah, plenty of pop. Much more pop than in the Summer League in the early 70s because you got two more teams. With two more teams, you've got more talented rosters, and it's hard for the pitchers to keep a team down. I think the ERA in the Summer League is 3.60 with a 2.60 batting average. But let's take a glance once again at the American League West. Look at your Rangers there. 2 games on the A's. And yeah, Texas Rangers. How about that? Making some noise in the Fall League. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time.